Look, there's a guy I know who drives a brand new truck, wears nice clothes, always picks up the check at dinner. Everyone assumes he's doing great. Here's the thing though. He's barely covering his minimum payments. His savings account has less than $500 in it. Meanwhile, there's a woman a few houses down, drives a 12-year-old Honda, wears the same 5 shirts on rotation, never talks about money. She's sitting on more than $400,000. Looking rich and being rich, almost never the same thing. My name is Ricky, and what you just heard isn't the exception, it's actually the rule. Most people have this completely backwards, and today I want to show you exactly why and what it's quietly costing you every time you spend to look successful instead of actually building it. If that sounds like something you need to hear, hit subscribe and stick around. Let's say you get a new job. Better title, better pay. You feel like you finally made it. But then you start noticing things. The parking lot is full of nicer cars than yours. Coworkers wear name brand clothes. Someone mentions a trip to Cancun like it's nothing. And without really deciding to, you start comparing. Your car suddenly feels embarrassing. The one that was running just fine last month, now it just feels old. So you start thinking about an upgrade, maybe a lease. It's not that much more a month, right? Then there's the wardrobe. Everyone around you dresses a certain way. You start buying pieces here and there. Nothing crazy, just enough to fit in. Dinners out start happening more. Drinks after work. Birthday gifts for coworkers you barely know. None of it feels reckless in the moment. Each purchase makes sense on its own. But here's the thing. A few months in, you check your bank account, and it's tighter than it should be. Way tighter. You're making more money than you ever have, and somehow you have less breathing room than before. That gap between what you earn and what you actually keep, that's where the stress lives. You start dreading the bank app. You open it less, you tell yourself you'll deal with it next paycheck. And the worst part? Nobody around you seems to be struggling. Everyone looks fine. Everyone looks like they have it together. So you assume it's just you. You assume you're bad with money. But look, you're not bad with money. You're responding exactly the way most people respond when they're surrounded by spending they can't see the full picture of. Here's what most people don't realize. The way someone looks financially and the way someone actually is financially are almost completely disconnected. We're trained to read wealth visually. Nice car, nice clothes, nice vacations on social media, so we assume that's what wealth looks like. But think about it for a second. A car lease doesn't mean someone has money. It usually means the opposite. $300 or more a month, every month going towards something that loses value the second they drive it off the lot. Designer clothes don't mean wealth either, they just mean someone spent money recently. Here's the reframe. Money that's visible has usually already been spent. Money that's actually building wealth is by definition invisible. It's sitting in an account, growing quietly. Nobody can see it from the outside. Think about somebody in your own life like that. The neighbor who's driven the same paid-off car for 10 years. The coworker who never mentions vacations, never posts much, never seems to be chasing anything. Nobody talks about that person. Nobody's impressed by them. But if you actually saw their bank account, you might be the one who's surprised. Now, you might be thinking, well, that sounds kind of boring. And yeah, it kind of is. But boring is what actually works. Looking poor isn't deprivation, it's a strategy. And once you see it that way, it changes how you look at your own spending. So let's get into the actual math here, because this is where it gets really interesting. Most of what you spend to look a certain way, you won't even remember in 5 years. A car you don't drive anymore, clothes that are out of style, dinners you can't recall. But the money never forgets. Say you spend $300 a month on things that exist mostly to make you look a certain way. A nicer car payment, some clothes, eating out to keep up with friends. $300 a month sounds small. It's $3,600 a year. Still doesn't sound huge, right? Now, stretch that out. If you took that same $300 a month and invested it instead, earning around 8% a year, over 20 years, that grows to around $175,000. Let that sit for a second. That's the real cost of looking a certain way, not the $300 every dollar that money could have turned into year after year, quietly growing in the background while you weren't watching. Here's the part that makes this even trickier. Visible spending doesn't just cost you money, it creates more spending. Here's the cause and effect most people miss. Visible spending invites comparison. Your coworker upgrades, so you feel behind, so you upgrade too. It feeds on itself. One purchase quietly invites the next one. Now compare that to invisible saving. Nobody sees your retirement account go up. Nobody compliments your emergency fund. There's no social reward for it. Invisible saving just doesn't work that way. It just sits there, growing, without asking anyone else's permission and without anyone else's opinion getting involved. Let me give you two people. Same salary, same starting point, completely different paths. Derek makes $85,000 a year. He leases a truck for $750 a month. Nothing crazy beyond that. He dresses fine, eats out a couple of times a week, the kind of stuff most people do without thinking twice. On paper, Derek looks like he's doing great. He kind of has to. That's the whole point. But after 5 years, Derek has less than $2,000 saved. He's never missed a payment. He's also never gotten ahead. Now, meet Priya. Same salary, $85,000 a year. She drives a 12-year-old Honda Civic, fully paid off. Her wardrobe hasn't changed much in years. She cooks most nights, nothing fancy. Nobody looking at Priya would guess anything special about her finances. That's exactly the point. She puts $1,500 a month into her retirement account, every single month, rain or shine. After 15 years, Priya has around $420,000. Here's the thing. Derek and Priya made the exact same income the entire time. The only difference was what each dollar was used for. One was used to be seen, the other was used to grow. And if you walked past both of them on the street, Derek's the one who'd turn heads, Priya's the one who's actually free. Now, here's something most people never even consider. Looking wealthy doesn't just cost you money, it costs you in other ways too. Think about it. If people think you're doing well financially, they treat you differently. Family members start asking for loans. Friends expect you to pick up the tab more often. People assume you can chip in more for the group trip, the group gift, the group everything. Banks and lenders notice too. The better your spending looks, the more offers you get for bigger credit lines, bigger loans, your pre-approved letters in the mail. The system is basically designed to hand you more rope the moment you start climbing. Here's what most people don't realize. This is exactly why a lot of genuinely wealthy people choose to look ordinary on purpose. Not because they're cheap. Not some moral thing either. It's strategic. Looking modest removes pressure. Nobody asks Priya for a loan. Nobody expects her to cover dinner for 6 people. Nobody's pitching her a bigger truck payment. Now you might be thinking, well, doesn't that mean you can never enjoy your money? Not at all. It just means you get to choose when and where that money shows up, instead of constantly performing for an audience that honestly isn't paying that much attention. Let's zoom out for a second, because the real difference between Derek and Priya isn't really about money at all. It's about identity. Derek's spending was answering a question. Do I look successful? Every purchase was chasing an answer to that. And the problem with chasing an answer like that is it never finishes. There's always a newer truck, a nicer jacket, a better vacation someone else just posted. Priya was answering a different question. Am I building something? And that question has a much quieter, steadier kind of answer. It doesn't need anyone else's approval. It just needs time. Here's a number to ground this. If Priya just keeps doing exactly what she's already doing, no raises, no lucky breaks, nothing extra, by the time she's ready to retire, she's looking at well over $1 million, just from the same $1,500 she's already putting in. That's not a guess, that's just what consistency looks like stretched out over decades. Here's the thing about time, though. In the first few years, saving barely feels like anything. It's almost boring, honestly. Nobody's impressed by a retirement account with $6,000 in it. But money behaves strangely over long stretches of time.
It moves slowly at first, and then it starts moving faster, almost on its own. The hard part isn't the math. The math is simple. The hard part is sticking with something boring for years while it looks like nothing is happening. That's really what this comes down to. Not intelligence, not even income, just patience and the willingness to be underestimated for a while. And eventually, something shifts. Once that habit sets in, once putting money away becomes just a normal part of your month, like brushing your teeth, it stops requiring willpower. It just becomes who you are. And that shift from chasing how you look to quietly building what you actually have is honestly the biggest financial decision most people never realize they're making. So let's bring this back together. Looking successful and being financially secure are two completely different things, almost always.
Every dollar spent on appearance is a dollar that can't grow somewhere else, and that gap adds up to a lot more than people expect. Visible spending also feeds itself. The excitement fades fast, and it pushes you to spend again just to feel that same lift. Looking modest isn't deprivation, it's protection. It keeps people from asking you for money. It keeps lenders from handing you more debt. It keeps you out of a comparison game that never really ends. Here's the part that probably won't sit right. Statistically, a lot of the people around you who look the most financially comfortable are actually under more pressure than you are, not less. The image and the reality usually run in opposite directions. And the biggest shift isn't financial at all. It's about identity, moving from how do I look to what am I actually building. That shift is quiet. Nobody claps for it. But 15, 20 years from now, it's the only thing that actually matters. So here's what I'd actually ask you to do. Not today, necessarily, just sometime this week. Pick one expense, just one, something you pay for every month without really thinking about it. A car payment, a subscription, a habit of eating out. And ask yourself, honestly, is this for me? Or is this for the version of me that other people see? There's no wrong answer here. Some spending is genuinely for you. That's the whole point. Spending intentionally instead of automatically. But if you're honest and a few of those expenses are really about being seen a certain way, that's worth sitting with for a minute. Look, I'm not saying live like you have nothing. That's not the message here. The message is just know the difference. Know what's building something and what's just performing for people who probably aren't watching as closely as you think. If this video gave you something to think about, that's genuinely all I want from it. If you want to keep going down this path with me, hit subscribe. No pressure either way. I'll see you in the next one.